Hello all, welcome to part 1 of XML tutorial. In this session, I am going to explain the XML basics along with few practical demonstrations. So let's get started. First of all, what is this XML? XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. Extensible Markup Language. Okay, XML stands for, or the full form of XML is Extensible Markup Language. If I highlight this X inside this extensible and M inside this markup and L inside this language, together we'll get XML, guys. Okay, here X from extensible, M for markup, L for language. Together we got this XML. Now let me explain this XML from scratch. Okay, before I explain the different concepts like what is extensible in XML and what is this markup in XML, okay, how XML is in language and all those theoretical stuff. Before I explain all the theoretical stuff that I'm going to anyhow explain in these sessions, okay, let me first create a sample XML file. Though you understand this XML file, or if you don't understand this XML file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sample XML file. So using the sample XML file, I'm going to explain all the other theoretical topics. Okay, this will be the better way of explaining the stuff, guys. Okay, so for that reason, okay, before explaining any other basics of this XML, I'm going to straightforwardly create an XML sample file. Fine. So let me go to the desktop and create a new text document. Okay, I'll create a new file, that is text document. Without naming or without changing the extension of this particular file, I'll simply open this text document file in a notepad, and here I'll start typing something. Okay, I'll just start typing. I just typed less than symbol, guys. Okay, and since it is kind of, I have to increase the font size. Let me say control plus so that I can increase the font size in notepad. Here I'll start typing, guys. Less than, greater than symbol I have to provide, and in between that I have to provide some name for this. Okay, let's say I'll provide some name like food list. Okay, so let's say, guys, my example will be like I have to create some XML content representing the food items in a hotel. Okay, I want to create some XML content which is representing the list of food items in a hotel. So for that, I'm creating this. Let's assume, okay, food list slash food list. Okay, food list slash food list. The same food list, guys, but only the difference here is I'm putting a slash here. Why I have to put slash here? This is a starting point of the food list, and this is the ending point of the food list. Okay, to state that this is a closing tag, I have to provide forward slash here. This doesn't have forward slash because it's a starting tag. Okay, this is ending tag, this is starting tag. Inside this food list, I'll create different food items. Okay, I list down all the food items that are there in the hotel. Food item. Here, if I provide food item here, I have to close it somewhere, right? If I'm starting it here, this food item has to close somewhere. Like the way food list has started here and closed here, even the under the food list, we have this food item, a child item. You can say food item is a child of this food list, and it should also close somewhere, guys. That's why I'm copy pasting it and saying slash here. Okay, the first food item will be listed here. Similarly, second food item, third food item, fourth food item. How many food items are there? I'm going to list down 4 food items in this food list. Food list is starting here, ending here, closing tag, starting tag. In between that, we have, in between the starting and closing tags of the food list, we have 4 food items. Okay, first food item is starting here, ending here. Second food item is starting here, ending here because it has forward slash. That's why closing. Third food item is starting and ending here. Fourth food item is starting and ending here. Now coming to the first food item, guys. Here I can describe this food item using child tags. Okay, in between these food items, I'm again going to create some child tags like name of the food item. Name is starting here and ending here. Okay, and similarly, I want to provide the cost of the food item, guys. Cost is starting here and ending here. Similarly, other food items also will have this similar kind of name and cost, right? Okay, so that's why I'm also creating food items here. Okay, that is food items details like name and cost here also. For the third food item also, I'm creating this food item name and cost. For the fourth food item also, I'm creating the name and cost. Okay, like this. So we want to see everything together. I'll say control minus minus so that the font size will be reduced a bit. Now, in this hotel's food list, we have total 4 food items, right? We can add even more food items, guys. For this demonstration, I'm only adding or considering only 4 food items. Okay, first food item, second food item, third food item, and fourth food item. Each and every food item I'm describing with the name and cost. For example, this was the name I'm describing as pizza, cost I'm describing as $10. Okay, here second food item I'm saying pasta, cost I am saying as $5. Okay, $5 is the cost. Third food item I'm mentioning as what is that? Burger, and cost I'm mentioning as $5. Sorry, $6. Okay, and finally the fourth food item noodles, and I'm pricing it at $8. Okay, like this. So I'm able to represent 4 food items in the form of XML, and the root tag was food list. Okay, food list is starting here, ending here. In between that, we have listed down all the food items, and each and every food item has a name and a cost associated with it, described here in the form of XML. Okay, this is how an XML looks like, guys. Okay, this is how an XML looks like. We can represent anything with XML, right? We can represent a list of employees working in a company or not, right? Employee list, employee slash employee, name of the employee, experience of the employee, location where the employee is working, company in which employee is working. All those things you can describe if you want. Like that, guys. Anything, any data can be described in the form of XML like this. Okay. So at high level, guys. Now we have written this XML content in a notepad in a text document. Now we have to carefully save this file. Okay. So file, I have to save as, and have to give the name for this particular file, guys. Let's say hotel food list. Okay, hotel food list dot XML. Okay, extension, you should be very careful. You should save this as dot XML, guys, not dot txt, dot XML. Okay, so we are saving this as an XML document. Okay, so name of the document dot XML, and here save this as all files. Now save this on somewhere on your computer, let's say desktop, and save it like this. So when you close this, guys, when you close this, you see an XML file with hotel food list got created. This is an XML document. You see, when I hold the mouse, you are getting the notification as XML document. You can delete this file. Okay. Now, guys, tomorrow, if you want to look at this contents, okay, what is XML content of this XML file? If you want to look at, right click on this and select open with Notepad. The same editor which you have used for writing the XML content, you can right click and open with Notepad, guys. XML file. It will open like this in the Notepad, and you can see all the XML content. Fine. So this is a sample XML file, guys, that I created just now. Okay. So now I'll explain a lot of theoretical stuff now, right? Based on this XML document file, I'm going to explain a lot of theoretical stuff. Now it will be very easy for you guys to understand what I am trying to explain. Okay. Because you have clearly observed from scratch how to create an XML file, right? How to create an XML file. Now you'll understand all the topics very easily. Okay. Theoretical will be very easily now. So as I already mentioned, guys, XML stands for extensible markup language. In this, what is this extensible? And what is this markup? I have to explain, right? So coming to the markup, guys. What is this markup in XML? Markup means marks or tags. Okay, in XML document, we were using this marks or tags. What are they? This kind of symbols. Did you observe? If I show you this XML document again, can you see the less than greater than symbols which we have used throughout the XML document for representing the food items in a hotel, etc. You see, for pizza also, name is surrounded with less than and greater than symbol, right? What are these less than and greater than symbol? Less than and greater than symbol are known as marks or tags. Okay, since in XML the major symbols that we have to use are less than and greater than symbol, that's why the name has come as extensible markup language. Okay, we are using the marks. Okay, since we are using the marks in the XML content while creating the XML content, that's why we are naming this as markup, guys. Okay, markup means this marks represents the marks are tags. We can also call them as tags, guys. Okay, these are together less than and greater than together are called as tags. Fine, either marks or tags. That's the meaning of this markup case. So that's why XML is called as extensible markup language, because it's using these marks. Second thing, what is this extensible then? Now I created this XML, and if tomorrow if I want to add more food items, I can extend it to how many items I want. Tomorrow a new item got added into a hotel. Okay, let's say tomorrow another item got added to the hotel. Let's say uh, pizza, pasta, burger, noodles. Okay, let's say the what you call sandwich. Okay, let's say sandwich got introduced tomorrow into the hotel. So you can extend it. You can extend this XML file, guys. You can add as many food items you want. Okay, you can delete it. You can extend it. It's extensible, guys. Okay, you can extend it. Okay, so here sandwich I'll just say $9. Okay, let's say, and save this. That's how the XML is extensible, guys. Okay, we can expand. Okay, we can expand it and we can extend it. Okay, simple terms we can extend it. Simple terms we can extend the XML with a lot of more data. Okay, fine. That's why extensible markup means tags or marks language. Okay, this language uses markups and it is kind of extensible, extended. It can be extended a bit. Okay, more. Fine, guys. Now, guys, let's understand what is the difference between the HTML and XML. If you go to any web page, let's say if I take you to some sample web page, let's say compendium dev, okay, .uk basic web page. If I take you to this particular web page, guys, okay, this is a HTML web page, and if I right click and select view page source, you will get the HTML code of this particular page. Okay, you are getting the HTML code of this particular page, guys. You see, even the HTML code of this particular page also looks the same way the XML is looking, right? Can you see? Here also we have less than greater than symbol, and HTML is starting here, HTML tag is starting here, and the HTML tag is ending here because it has a forward slash. Similar to XML, right? It looks very similar to HTML, also looks similar to XML. And here we have head tag starting here, head is ending here. In between the head tags, we have title tag starting here, ending here. We have the title content provided here. Okay, again we have the body tag. Under the HTML tag we have both head and body tags. Body is starting here, ending here, and inside the body tags again we have paragraph tags which are starting here, ending here. Second paragraph is starting here and ending here. Okay, this HTML is also looking similar to XML, but what is the difference, guys? Whatever the tags that you are seeing in HTML, these are predefined tags. Okay, what's the difference between HTML and XML? This side if I write HTML and this side if I write XML, what's the difference between this HTML and XML? HTML uses predefined tags. All the tags in the HTML are predefined, guys. They have some meaning. Okay, I'm not going to explain HTML in this session. Okay, so there is another video. There is another video which I created where you can refer to the HTML, guys. Okay, but not here. But simple, when I compare the HTML tags with the XML tags, HTML tags have a predefined meaning. Okay, uh, body section, body means it will represent the body of the page. Okay, all those stuff. It has a predefined. These are the predefined tags, guys. HTML tags are the predefined tags, where the XML tags are user defined tags. They doesn't have any meaning, guys. Okay, they are just representing the data. Okay, these XML tags are simply representing the data, guys. Nothing much. They don't have any predefined meaning. Okay, these are user defined tags, whereas HTML, each and every tag in the HTML is a predefined tag. They have a meaning. Okay, if you use title, you see the title of the page is displayed here. Okay, basic web page title. So if you write some title here, that is being shown here on the page. That means each and every tag here has a meaning and a job to do. But in XML, there is no job, guys. It's simply representation of the data. Very plain language, you can say. Okay. Whereas HTML has some predefined tags, whereas XML has user defined tags. Okay. Unlike HTML, XML has user defined tags. But what is the purpose of the XML then? Okay. If there is no meaning for this tags. Okay. If these are user defined tags, then what is the purpose of the XML? Why we are creating such kind of user defined tags in XML? The purpose of XML is primarily to store the data, guys. Okay. So if I show you this one, guys, if I show you this XML document as an example, what we are doing here really using this XML, by writing this XML content, what exactly we are achieving here? We are simply storing the data. Okay. List of food items in the hotel we are storing in the form of an XML. We are representing the data by storing the data in this XML. Okay. We are representing the data in a form of XML here, right? You see, name of the item, food item is pizza, cost of the food item is $10, another food item, details are there here. We are simply storing, this is the data case, this is the data we are storing into this XML, okay? That's one of the purpose of the XML. What is the next purpose? What is the important purpose of the XML? The purpose of XML is not just to store the data, but also to transfer the data between two applications, which may have been built on different or same technological stacks, okay? So that means, just see this image guys, you will get all the clarity what I'm explaining here. The purpose of the XML is to store the data and transfer the data between different applications. Okay, this is one application, this is another application. Maybe this application is built on Java and this application is built on Python, let's say, and they cannot communicate well. So they can use a common transferable or medium like XML guys, where they can use XML because Java can parse XML and Python also can parse the XML and get the data out of the XML. So what these two applications are using is this XML for communication. Okay, they are simply using the XML for communication. So XML is storing the data and transferring the data from one application to another application. Okay, they are using the XML for communication. It's like a translator, you can say. Okay, the one who is transferring the data and make other applications understand and here able to send, able to receive, able to send, able to receive kind of thing. Okay, that kind of win-win situation. So that's the purpose of the XML guys. Okay, so these two applications may have been built on different technologies and they are using XML to transfer data between each other. Okay, XML is simply storing the data and transferring the data between two applications having different technical stack. This is a real time need of this XML guys. Why we have to use XML in real time? To store the data and transfer the data guys. Okay, so like this we will store the data and this list of data can be transferred to another application. Okay, from one application to another application as a communication means. XML is easily readable not only by applications guys. Okay, XML is not only readable by applications but also humans. Okay, we also can read this XML, right? By looking at this XML we can easily understand that this is a list of food items. Okay, list of food items where the first item is a pizza which is having the cost is $10, second item is pasta and $5. We can easily understand, we can read this XML as a human. At same time it's a platform independent guys. Okay, so all the platforms, all the different technical stack can understand the XML guys. It's a common thing. Okay, XML is a common thing for all the different things, different platforms. That's why we can use XML to store the data and transfer the data between two applications. Okay, but guys, are we using these days, are we using XML in real time? No guys, we are not using XML nowadays. Okay, so a lot of applications are using JSON. Okay, JSON is the latest way of transferring the data between client and server guys. In this session, I am not going to cover JSON guys. I'm only going to cover about XML in a detailed manner, but JSON will be covered to you in a separate session. Okay, JSON will be covered to you in a separate session or separate series, tutorial series. For now, only understand, I'll only explain XML in this case. Okay, but when compared with XML and JSON for storing the data and transferring the data, JSON is the best one guys. Okay, nowadays everyone has migrated from XML to JSON for storing and transferring the data between two applications. Now, hope you got some basic knowledge about what exactly is XML and why it is called as extensible and markup kind of thing, and what is the purpose of the XML. You understood so far. Now guys, here I created this XML file. Okay, I have created this XML file. If I have to represent this XML file or if I have to understand this XML file in a better way, I can use some tools guys. Okay, some free tools are there on the web. You can either Google search for them or you can directly click on this link here. Okay, JSON formatter, XML formatter. If you type in Google, you will get this kind of link guys. So here what I'm going to do is, here in this XML formatter, I'm going to copy paste this XML content. Okay, I'm going to copy paste this XML content, paste it here. This left side input XML is this one guys. This is input XML. Is there any mistake anywhere? No. Okay, you see there is a mistake guys. I did a mistake. The tool is identifying. You see, that's one of the advantage of this JSON formatter tool. What's the problem here? You see, I'm starting the cost tag but ending with name. That's the problem guys. Okay, I forgot to modify it. Okay, I have to change it to cost. So everywhere you have to change it to cost guys. That's, you see, that's the advantage of that, one of the advantage of the tool. If you wrongly give some invalid XML, it is identifying. Okay, if you start with cost, you have to end that cost with ending cost, not name, right? Now let me save this and again copy paste this time and see whether errors are resolved. You see there are no errors coming here. This particular XML content doesn't have any errors. Now what I'm going to do is on the right side, okay, I'm going to represent this XML, inputted XML in different formats. For example, I'll say format or beautify. Okay, so it's already formatted and beautified, guys. Okay, so if you see there are a lot of spaces here, the spaces got removed. This is a better version now. Okay, I'll copy this formatted one and paste it here so that it will be represented in a proper way. Okay, the formatted one is better one. Okay, that's another advantage of the tool because it's formatting. Unnecessary things it is removing. And okay, if I miss one slash here, let's say, okay, if I'm missing this slash here and say format beautify, so is it adding the slash? Let's see for which item I have removed the slash here, ending slash for burger, right? You see for burger, okay, it's taking in a different way, guys. Okay, it's taking in a different way. So it's considering it as a child element. Okay, so it's not identifying this part, but some kind of formatting it is doing. Okay, let me do it again. It's formatting now properly. Okay, alignments and all it's taking care of now. Fine. Okay, so formatting and beautify, this is a better way. And second thing is representation, guys. Okay, representation. The representation is XML tree. Okay, just click on the XML tree. You see this XML will be represented in a proper way, guys. Okay, in a different way. Okay, where you can understand. You see this complete XML document. The root tag is food list. Only one food list is there. Under the food list, how many food items are there? If I expand this, you see the list is coming to 5 food items are there. What are they? The first food item is this one, name pizza item. Second food item is pasta. Third food item is burger. Fourth food item is noodle. And fifth one is sandwich. These are the different food items we have, right? Food items. So this is a tree way of representation. Okay, if you want to see how this XML looks in a tree view, where this one is a parent item and these are the child items, and how many child items are there under the food list? 5 child items. Like that's one thing. And also you can convert this XML into a JSON format, guys. Okay, just you see the converter is there. Like this, many other advantages are there. You see, if you have to represent the XML in the form of JSON, it looks like this. Okay, it looks like this. For now, let's not deviate to the JSON, guys. Okay, even though there is an option here in this particular, like that, there are several formatters and there are several tools available on the Google, guys. Okay, which can even identify. If I remove the slash also, it will identify, guys, and they can correct also. There are some other, but this particular thing is not correcting this kind of forward slash, but some other online tools may do that also. Okay, so for now, format beautify XML tree is fine. Okay, these are some useful tools which we can use to represent the XML in a different format. Okay, different format or proper format. Okay, it can beautify, it can okay, it can format the things, it can remove the unnecessary things, it can identify the errors. Like that, a lot of useful tools are there on the web. You can Google search, guys. Okay, XML useful tools and all, you'll get a lot of links apart from this, but this one I found it good, so I listed down here. You can try other things. Okay, fine. Next one, guys. Next one is so far we were writing the XML inside an notepad, right, and saving this as an XML file. But we can also create XML in better editors. Okay, we can also type XMLs in a better editors, and they are even more good also. So let me do one thing. So for that, guys, you need something known as Eclipse IDE. Okay, the editor I'm going to choose for creating the XML files and all. Instead of creating the XML files using this notepad, simple notepad editor, I'm going to use some advanced IDE editors like Eclipse IDE or any other editors also you can take, guys. But I'm choosing Eclipse IDE for now for this session. So in order to use Eclipse IDE, guys, it will not be there by default in your Windows machine. You have to download and install it. Okay, you have to download and install it. How to download and install Eclipse IDE? Simple, guys. What you have to simply do is just Google search for Eclipse IDE download. Okay, Eclipse IDE download. The moment you do that, you will get this kind of link, Eclipse downloads link. Click on that. Click on that. You'll be taken to this kind of page, downloads page. Okay, I have already downloaded and installed Eclipse in my machine, guys. I'm not going to show how to download and install, but you have to go to this page, guys, and here there is a download button on this page. Just click on this. This will download the latest version of Eclipse IDE. And once the exe file got downloaded, you just double click the exe file and blindly follow the next buttons until it shows a final button, finish button. Just click on the finish button, and the Eclipse IDE will be installed in your machine, and thereafter you can launch from here. Just type Eclipse and you can launch from your machine. Okay, that's a simple process, guys. Okay, that is a simple process of Eclipse IDE. So now let me show you, since I already downloaded and installed Eclipse IDE in my machine, let me launch Eclipse IDE. I just pinned it, whatever the shortcut I got for Eclipse IDE, right? I pinned it to my taskbar so that I can launch it easily, or you can even launch it from here also. Okay, I can simply search Eclipse here. After installing Eclipse, just click on this, it will launch. Okay, this is how it will launch the latest version as per today's date. Okay, now here guys, I'll choose this one, select launch. That is a workspace, guys. If you don't have any workspace, for the first time you have to create a workspace. Okay, you can browse a particular folder on your machine where you want to store the Eclipse IDE projects. Okay, that is a workspace. Now guys, in this Eclipse IDE editor, I'll create a new project, file, new. Here project I will select, and in this project wizard, I'll go to the Java folder, expand this and select the Java project, click on next, and I'll give the name of the project, say demo project, some project name I'm giving, and it's a Java project, guys. What I'm creating is a Java project. And one more thing, guys, I forgot to mention here. In order to uh, in order to use Eclipse IDE, guys, as a prerequisite for the Eclipse IDE to work in your machine, you should have Java already installed in your machine. Okay, if you don't have Java, before downloading and installing Eclipse IDE, you have to install Java in your machine. Okay, as per the latest trend, currently, guys, Java 11 is a LTS version we have. So I'll simply say Java download, Java 11 download, and you will get this kind of link, Java SE development kit. You can either install Java 8 or Java 11, anything is fine, guys. Some Java should be there in your machine to launch Eclipse IDE. Okay, otherwise you will not be able to launch Eclipse IDE the way I did. Okay, the prerequisite for Eclipse IDE to work in your machine is Java. So simply Java 11 download, click on this link. Okay, I'm just showing you the steps, guys. So here, okay, Java 17 came. I just searched for available now. Okay, fine. But here it is showing Java 11 or 17. So it's showing Java 17, guys. Let me go with the Java 11. That will be enough. Java JDK 11 download. Okay, let's give like this. You see now you got 11. Just click on that. Now still it's showing 17. Okay, okay, fine. What's going on? Okay, just scroll to the top. 17. Go down. Yeah, 11 is here, guys. Okay, just below. Here 8 is also there. 11 is also there. So even though the latest is 17, 17 is also LTS, guys. You can start downloading. Okay, you can start. Maybe it got released recently. Java 17 got now, because Java guys have mentioned that they are going to release Java 17 in September. Okay, this is September 2021. Maybe they have released it. That's fine. You can take this latest stable version, or you can either go with 11 or whatever it is. Any Java version is enough, guys. Okay. Okay, so let's assume that you want to install Java 17. That's fine. You can go with the latest version. Java 17 LTC is a better version, I can say. So you can download it for Windows. Is there anything for Windows here? Linux. Only Linux is there, guys. Okay, it's not released for Windows. So there is, if you are using Windows, there is no way of. Okay, here Windows is there. Yeah, sorry. So select the Windows, guys, and you just go with the exe file. Okay, download this exe file and install it. Okay, just select next and install, finish. The Java will be installed. After Java got installed, you have to install Eclipse IDE. Okay, after the Java got installed, you have to install Eclipse IDE and launch it and create this kind of Java project. Okay, inside the Eclipse IDE, after launching, you have to say file, new, project, Java. Okay, before installing Eclipse IDE, you should be installing Java, then only you can create this kind of Java project. Okay, click on next and say demo project. Click on finish, guys. Whatever the Java version you installed, it will come appear here. Module, don't create. That's it. If you get any other pop-up, select OK for that pop-up. Okay. Now expand this project, guys. Expand this project under SRC. I'll right click here and I'll say new file. I will say okay, new file, and here I have to give the file name, guys. Name of the file. Let's say hotel food list dot XML, right? You want to create the similar way you created the XML file in the notepad. Same way I'm giving the name here. Okay, right click new file and have to give the name of the file with extension, proper extension. Click on finish, guys. An XML file will be created. XML file got created. This is another way of creating the XML file, guys. Let me see what is the other way of creating the XML file. right click, new, other, okay. Just go with this guy. So this is the best way. Whatever the earlier way of creating the XML file in Eclipse IDE is not the better way. Now I'm trying to show you the better way of creating the XML file in Eclipse IDE. Instead of creating the older way, just right click here, select new, and select, instead of selecting this file option here, just select the other option guys. Okay, you'll get this select a wizard, create a new XML file or whatever it is. You see here currently XML is selected, right? That's why create a new XML file is coming. If DTD file, you'll get new DTD file. So select this XML guys. In this list, in this list, whenever you land on the select a wizard, just scroll down to see XML folder. Find out the XML folder guys. Where is the XML folder? XML is a folder here. Okay, when you find the XML folder, expand this, and under that you will see XML file. Click on next, give the name. .xml is by default coming, but give the name of the file. Say hotel food list. .xml is already there. Click on finish guys. This will create a proper format of XML guys. Okay, you see some text is being by default added. Earlier when I created the XML file in Eclipse IDE, this statement has not come, but this way of creating the XML file, you will also get this statement. I'll explain more about this statement later guys. Okay, for now let it be. Let it be. What is this? I am going to explain. Don't worry. But for now, ignoring this line, I'm going to write the same XML content. Food list, the same way guys that I created in the which file? Notepad file, right? Notepad editor, the way I created the XML content, the same way I'm going to create the XML content in the Eclipse IDE XML file. Okay. So here one of the food item, I will say food item slash food. You see automatically the closing tag is being created. When I created the starting tag, the Eclipse IDE is very smart that it is automatically creating the closing tag. In between that, I will say name. The moment I say close this, you see the closing tag is automatically coming. I don't have to type. Okay. In between that, I have to type, let's say pizza. And here I'll say cost $10. Another food item. In between the food items, name. The editor is very friendly guys. Okay, compared to the notepad, Eclipse IDE editor is very friendly in creating this kind of XML files. Pizza, pasta, cost $5. Then another food item. Okay, here again, name, pizza, pasta. Then what was the other item guys? Burger. Cost of the burger $6. Another food item. See if I am making any mistakes. Let's see. I don't think I'm making any mistakes. If like after typing, we can cross check whether I'm doing any mistake or not here. Okay. So name, noodles, cost of the noodles $8 or $7, let's say, or $8, let's say. That's not a problem. And food item, name of the food item is sandwich. Cost is $9. $9 slash cost. Done. Okay. So these are the several food items we have created. This XML content we have again created the same. The one I created in the XML file, I'm created again in the Eclipse IDE. Okay, in the notepad, whatever the XML content I created it again in the Eclipse IDE. Okay, now save this guys. Okay, save this. I saved this XML. Now there is one more additional feature here guys. Okay, the additional feature we have is right click on this XML file and say validate guys. Okay, so in Eclipse IDE, if you say validate here on the XML file, it will give you, if there are any problems in this XML file, it will let you know the validation completed with no errors or warnings. Okay, the validation completed with no errors or warning. What if there is some problem here? For example, here I was using name, let's say. Okay, now right click, validate. Okay, you see validation completed, one error was discovered, one resource was validated in under a second. Okay, so one error is there, it is saying this is error. Okay, the problem with the error is, the reason for this error is it should end with cost, not with name. So Eclipse IDE is smarter than the normal notepad kind of editors. It's able to identify the mistakes that we are right while typing the XML content. If you are doing any mistake while typing, it's letting you know, right? It's letting you know. That's the advantage of the XML. So it's resolved or not resolved. Cost slash cost. Okay, let me save and see. It's not going away, right? Any other place? Any problem? Let me say right click and say validate again. Now it's gone. Okay, you have to click on validate, guys, to remove that error. Okay, after modifying it, after correcting it, again you have to say validate so that the error will be gone. Now it's gone. There is no error here. Fine. This is how we have to use. We can create XML files in Eclipse IDE kind of advanced editor, and we can validate also at the same time. Next thing, we can open the XML file in a browser, guys. Okay, this particular, what will happen if you open this kind of whatever the editor you have used for creating the XML file, but let's try to open this XML file in the browser. Okay, so for that I'll select right click on this, guys, XML file, and say properties, and this is a place on my machine where the XML file is available. Just click on this. It will take you to the location where this is the XML file. Okay, in my machine at this location the XML file is created here using Eclipse IDE. I'll right click on this and say open with any browser you can choose, guys. You can open in Chrome browser, Opera browser. Just open in Opera browser for a while. Let's see. Don't worry about this stuff. Okay, this is what it's opened. Okay, this is how the XML file got opened. Let me open it again. Right click, open with Opera. Okay, for now Opera is coming. You can even open with Chrome or whatever it is. Okay, so Opera generally opens previous tabs, guys. Okay, that's the problem with Opera. So we can choose another browser, let's say, otherwise. Okay, just to avoid the confusion, choose another app. This time I'll see if I can find any other browser other than Opera. uh, Firefox is there. Okay, we can also choose from the PC, like if any other option. Let's say Chrome. Let's try for Chrome, guys. Program files. Is there anywhere Google Chrome is there? Google Chrome application, Chrome browser. Okay, so open. Let's open using Chrome. Okay, to open using the Chrome browser also. Okay, the XML, when you open in any browser, guys, it may be Opera, IE, Chrome, Firefox, the same thing will come anyhow. Okay, in the browser the XML file will be represented like this, guys. You see, so the food list is a method. Under the food list we have different food items: first food item, second food item, third food item, fourth food item, and fifth food item. If I expand this first food item, we have the name and cost coming up as a child elements, child tax, pizza $10, this one pasta $5, third food item burger $6, fourth food item noodles $8, and fifth food item sandwich $9. Okay, so this is how it looks like XML. If you open in XML, if you open the XML file in a browser, it looks like that, guys. Okay, so these are all the basics, guys. Whatever I'm explaining in this session are all the basics. We'll slowly move to the advanced topics of XML in the upcoming sessions. But now let's understand the basic concepts of XML so that you can understand the XML better. Okay, so next thing is root element. Here, what is the root element, guys? Here, what is the root element in this XML file? What is the root element? The top element, topmost element, under which all the other elements are available. You see, this all these things are available. All these food items are available as a child elements under the food list. You see, under the food list we have this 4 to 5 food items, right? 5 food items. Under this food list we have this. Is this food list under any other tags? These are the 5 children of this food list tag. Does food list have any parent tag? Is this food list a child of any other tag? No, right? This is topmost. The topmost tag, guys. Okay. This tag is known as root tag. Okay. What is this tag known as? Root element. Root tag or root element, which contain all other tags in the XML file. Okay. Here in this example, food list is the root element or root tag. Fine. So this is one terminology you have to remember, guys. Root element or root tag, which contains all the other child tags in the XML. Fine. That can be called as root. Whenever we refer to that root element or root tag, you have to understand that the complete XML file, what is the tag which under which all the other tags are available. Okay. What is a tag in this XML file where all the other tags are available? That tag is known as the root tag. Okay. Topmost tag. Second, there's something like XML Prolog. Okay, there is something known as XML Prolog, which got automatically added, guys. You don't have to remember this, but it gets automatically added when you create an XML file in a Eclipse IDE. Otherwise, you have to manually type this one. Okay, in Eclipse IDE editor, Eclipse IDE is very smart that it automatically added this line. Okay, when you created this file like this, right click, new, other. Here, expand the XML folder and select the XML file and give some name. Say demo.xml. I'll create a sample XML file. Say demo.xml and click on finish. When you created this demo.xml file, you see this line is automatically coming. The first line is automatically coming. It's a prologue. Is this compulsory? If I remove this, what will happen? Nothing will happen, guys. It's optional. Okay. This prologue, this is called as XML prologue, guys. This is optional. It's not compulsory to have XML prologue. The first line in XML, it's like a declaration, you can say. Okay, declaration kind of line, which will describe about this which will describe that this is an XML file having the XML version as 1.0 and it uses some encoding like UTF-8 kind of thing. Okay, it's a description. Okay, declaration kind of line. Okay, which is called as XML prologue, guys. In terminology wise, it's called as XML prologue. It's an optional, guys. It's not compulsory. You have to write this line. You see here, even though I have not provided the prologue, okay, the first line is not a prologue here, right? Even though it's still working, guys, this is an XML file, okay? Or you can write also. Since it is optional, it's better. It's a good practice to provide this line, guys. Okay, anyhow, okay, even though it's optional, not compulsory, it's a good practice to provide this declaration, XML declaration statement, which is nothing but XML prologue, the XML files. Okay, fine. So what does this prologue contain? This prologue contains the version of the XML. Okay, this is a version number of the XML, the type of XML content I'm typing, right? That is from version 1.0. And second thing is encoding is, okay? That means if you specify this encoding, that means we are specifying that in this XML file, we are using some international characters, okay? Different international characters we are using here. That we are specifying that, okay? Encoding means the kind of characters we are using. Apart from the alphabets, we are using a lot of symbols like less than, question mark here, double quotes. Some international characters are being used in this XML file. That's why to mention that we have to say encoding is equal to UTF-8. Okay, this encoding allows you to mention that you are using simply. It will not allow. It will just simply mention that we are using some international characters. Okay, it's a small declaration, guys. Okay, declaration that this particular file is XML file which is having the version 1.0 and it's using some international characters. Like that we are declaring, nothing much. This is optional again. Okay, this particular statement is again optional. It's not compulsory. Okay, so guys, let's say here we don't in Eclipse IDE is very smart. The moment you create the XML file in the way I showed you, it's automatically adding this prologue. But what if you are using Notepad and you don't remember this part? You don't remember this line. Is it really required you to remember or memorize this line? No, right? There's some way. For example, here this particular XML content doesn't have any prologue. I'm copy pasting this. I'm copying this, and what I will do is I have some tools, guys. Okay, so there's another online resource available here which will format the XML for me. Just click on this. Just click on that, and here copy paste the XML you created. Okay, as it is. It doesn't have any prologue, but here you have something like format XML, right? Just click on the format XML. The moment you click on the format XML, you see formatted XML file is coming here along with the prologue. The prologue is getting added here automatically. Okay, now you can copy paste from here. Okay, copy paste from here and just go back to the XML file and paste it here. That's it. You got a proper formatted XML file. So don't worry, guys. I'm going to share all these notes with you. Okay, so in the description of this video, you'll find the notes. In the notes, I have provided all these free resources available. Okay, which you can use for formatting the XML and all those stuff. Okay, representing the XML, formatting the XML, correcting the mistakes, etc., etc. Fine. These free links are provided in the notes. Okay, these notes will be provided in the description. Okay, as a link in the this particular notes link will be provided in the description of this video. You can check there. Now next one is the closing tags, guys. Okay, so as you already know, guys, by this time you already know that if you create a starting tag in XML, it should end with a closing tag. It's compulsory. If you remove, you are going to get errors like this. Okay, you see already the errors are coming. So to overcome these problems, again we have to close this, guys. Okay, for closing you have to say /. This is the closing tag. Now you see the error is gone. Okay, all the tags in XML should be closed. It's mandatory. Okay, all the tags in XML should have closing tags, except Prolog, guys. Okay, you see Prolog doesn't have any closing tag. If you go back here to the XML, you see the Prolog doesn't have any closing tag. It's only starting tag for Prolog, but and closing tag is not there, so you can ignore the Prolog. But all the other tags in the XML file should have the closing tag. Okay, fine. Next one, attributes, guys. So for now, till now, did we create any attributes here? Any of these tags have any attributes? No. So we'll do one thing, guys. Okay, we'll do one thing. So here, pizza, I'll say type is equal to which type of food? Italian. Italian. What about the pasta, guys? Is pasta also Italian? Let's assume that pasta is also Italian. Type is Italian, I will type. And here burger. Let's say burger is American, let's say American. Noodles, Chinese. Noodles are from Chinese. Okay, Chinese kind of food item. Chinese. Sandwich. Sandwich, let's say American. So different food items have different type of food items, guys. Okay. So here to specify which type of food item it is. Okay. Here we are not describing the food item, but here we are specifying the type of the food item. Such kind of things can be provided in the form of attributes, guys. Okay. So type attribute. Okay. Type here is an attribute, and this is the value of the attribute. Okay. This is the name of the attribute for the food item, and this is the so food. Simply, guys, coming out of the context here and going to the XML way of describing. This is a starting tag. This is the ending tag. This is a starting tag. This is the ending tag. This is starting tag and ending tag. The content of the tags, but this one is an attribute. Okay. In one of the starting tag, we have given the attribute as type Italian. Okay. Type Italian is attribute. So attribute values should be surrounded with either double quotes or single quotes, guys. Either you can provide single quotes also, it's fine. Okay, it's not compulsory that you have to provide double quotes only. You can even provide single quotes. Okay, single quotes also works. Single quotes also fine, double quotes also fine, guys. Both will work. Okay, in XML. Attribute values should be surrounded by single quotes or double quotes. Okay. Now you understood, right? These are nothing but the attribute, guys. This is an attribute along with the value. This is an attribute along with the value. This can be provided in the star tags. Attributes are generally provided along with the values in the star tags. Now next thing, guys. Nesting of the tags in XML should be done properly, guys. So this nesting, you see under the food list, we have nested the food items. Under the food items, we have nested the name and cost. We have to properly nest it, guys. Okay. If you feel any problem in nesting and all, okay, just copy here. So in Eclipse IDE, you will not see any problem, but you just go here and copy paste. Copy paste. If you have any formatting problem, just copy paste in this kind of online resources and say format XML. You will get the proper formatted XML here. Copy paste. Copy this formatted XML and paste it back in your document. Any problem? Something is not copied properly. I didn't copy completely, guys. That's the problem. You see, Eclipse is also very smart. Now it's good, right? Now right click, validate. Okay. Errors are gone. Save. Okay. Done. So I have formatted it very well. You see, this is how the XML should look like. Okay. The proper formatted XML. Okay. Nesting of the tags in XML should be done very good, and also the spaces, guys. Okay. The spaces alignments and all those things should be very good. Okay. So because you see, this is a parent, and under that we have this child. Under that we have these grandchildren. Okay. For food list, these are the grandchildren. You see, there is some tab spaces we are creating here. Okay. Here one tab space. The grandchildren are having the two tab spaces. All this comes into formatting, guys. If you feel that you have not formatted well, just copy paste to this kind of tools, and click on format. You will get the proper format. Okay. Done. Nesting should be done properly with proper format. Comments, guys. You can also write comments in XML. For example, here I can write comment here. Anywhere in the XML file, I can write the comment. This is how the comment syntax looks like. It starts with less than, exclamatory mark, hyphen, hyphen, ends with hyphen, hyphen, greater than symbol. Here I'll provide the comments. The below is the list of food items in our hotel. Okay, in our hotel. The below is the list of. This is a comment, guys. This comment means what, guys? This is only description purpose. It's not part of the XML. Okay. You see, this is just for description, guys. Okay, this is a description. It's not an XML. just for understanding the XML, we are writing this. Okay, when you execute this XML file or something, this will not work out. Okay, this will not be considered as an XML, guys. Okay, all the other things will be considered as XML, but except this line, this is just for the explanation purpose, for reading purpose only. Okay, it will not be used at any other requirement. There is no other requirement for this comment. This is a dummy text which cannot be considered as an XML, can only be used for describing the XML file. Okay, those are comments. Now there is something known as XML entity references, guys. Last item that I'm going to explain as part of the XML basics here. So what are these XML entity references? Okay, so just Google search, guys. You'll get all the XML entity references. I'll tell you with an example after you get this reference. For example, you got this XML entity reference. Just click on that. You got a table here, guys. For example, greater than symbol, less than symbol are considered as tags here, right? For example, here pizza. If I give less than, what's happening, guys? I want to represent. Otherwise, here I want to say this pizza is going to be less than $10. I have to represent like this. Okay. So this less than is not being accepted because this symbol is used in XML in the form of tags. Marks are tags, right? This less than symbol is used in XML as tags. But if you really want to use this less than symbol in this data, you cannot use it here. The problem is it's conflicting with this tags case. Okay. The problem is that. So instead of mentioning like this, guys, you have to mention with a proper entity reference. Okay, this less than symbol has entity reference like this. Okay, copy this and paste, use this like this. Okay, in XML, if you have to represent the less than symbol apart from the marks or tags, you have to use like this, guys. Okay, or you can even represent this format and this format also, entity reference or numerical format or hexadecimal, whatever you want, you just represent. Don't provide less than here, instead provide the this kind of references like entity reference, numerical reference, or hexadecimal reference for that less than symbol. Okay, but don't use less than. This will represent less than. Okay, less than. That is called as entity reference, guys. So guys, this is all about the XML basics that I wanted to cover in this session. That is a part one of the XML tutorial. I know this session was lengthy, but it will give you all the basics, guys. Okay, starting from creation of the XML file and different tools, different online free resources, and the different terminologies of the XML, all the XML basics. Okay, all the things that we have to know about XML are covered in this session. In the next session, we'll go to some advanced topic of XML, guys. As we are done with the basics, let's move on to the advanced topics of XML in the coming sessions. So that's it, guys. See you in the next video session. Thank you. Bye.